Good morning, Maryland. If you are new to the podcast, my name is Clara Brookbank, and man, do we have an exceptional show for you guys today. I'm sitting here with the cast of the new record-breaking movie, A Rose for Emily. Thank you guys so much for coming on. It's great to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
But not only that, we also have another guest today. The author of the brilliant story, A Rose for Emily, is also here with us today. Miss Faulkner, thank you so much for being here.
Hello, thank you for having me.
So, we're here to discuss a few different elements of the written piece and the film. The film came out about a week ago, and it is just off the charts. Really, really an amazing film. You guys, all of you, are just fantastic. Miss Faulkner, I think we're going to start with you. So, I just want to talk about your backstory for a little bit. You truly have had an amazing life leading up to this production. Do you want to speak on that?
Sure, well, I was born September 25th, 1897, so pretty
Wow.
old. Yeah. I was born in New Albany, Mississippi, but I was raised in Oxford. I married my wonderful husband, rest in peace, and I had my beautiful daughter, Jill. Really the inspiration for this story came from, my life. I was born in the Old South. That's kind of the setting of this story. And also, I did not have a good relationship with my father. Me and my mother were very close, but I didn't really have a good relationship with my father. So you'll see that in the story. We'll discuss that more. And also, it's just my love for writing. It just made me want to write this story. I've always loved it.
Mm-hmm. So did you find that you had any struggles or drawbacks when writing this, or was it pretty easy going?
No, it was pretty easy going because I could relate to it so well. Like I said, I was born in Old South, so it was pretty easy.
Okay, so I heard from a little bird that you had a viewing, a lot of important people there, just of the film, and just to get your name out there and increase a little bit of popularity. How did that go? What were some of the reactions that you got from people?
Well, people were pretty scared
Oh yeah.
when they first saw it. They were, I don't know. In the beginning, it was mostly just confusion because I had to clarify a bit about the story. They didn't really understand it, and then it just got more scary when I explained it. So.
Yeah, guys, if you haven't gone out and seen the film, I definitely recommend it. It's a very intense storyline, but it is worth it. Absolutely, it's incredible. So, when you were casting these lovely people for your film, were you looking for anything in particular in actors, actresses?
Well, I definitely wanted the people who played the characters in the story, kind of relate to them. And even if they didn't relate to them, I wanted to choose people who actually could pull the characters off. Emily, the main character, she's definitely a mess. Intense role. Yes, a very, very intense role. And Maya here played that very well. I do appreciate you for that. Very, very well. And as for, Emily's father, he was, his personality, the only thing you really got from it was that he was angry and controlling and all of that. Joe here played that very well. I appreciate you for that. And Alex, who played Homer, also did a very good job, so I really do.
Thank you very much. Great job writing.
Oh, yeah.
Alright, so I don't want to spend half the time speaking with Ms. Faulkner now, so we're going to give some questions to our actors and actresses, and then we can go ahead back to you if need be for any further questions. So I guess let's start with our lovely actor who played Miss Emily in A Rose for Emily. I would like to start with one that I'm particularly curious about. What was especially difficult in playing this role?
A lot was difficult. I think the hardest part was playing someone who was as mentally deranged as she was. It was just hard to really get into the character and truly, I guess, try to understand how she felt. It was just really hard to figure out how to relate myself to her. And I pulled off as well as I could. So,
Very well. Let's see. did you feel that there were any ways that you were able to connect with your character, maybe in preparation for or outside of or on set? Anything that you maybe had to do
Yeah,
to really get your
yeah.
mind in?
I had to look at a bunch of like synopsis of her and how she was during that time period. I really had to, I guess, kind of put my feelings aside and really try to
Right.
focus on how she felt.
It's difficult.
And I guess it's really hard to get into her mindset because I've never been to that place in my life where I feel I need to kill people and everything like that. So I think that was kind of the hardest part, really just trying to.
Let's go ahead. Our actor that played Homer. How did you connect with your character, your role, anything you did to prepare?
I didn't need to prepare much. And my role was, it was a good role, and it was a lot of fun playing. So.
Excuse me, I'm kind of old. I use the restroom.
Oh, by all means. So, while I have you guys here, is there anything that you think the screen brought to this story that maybe a piece of writing couldn't do, or anything new that it really added to just the whole concept?
I really think that the movie actually gave a little more for my character.
Mm-hmm.
I read the story, there was hardly anything about
Oh,
it
yeah,
that actually
absolutely.
bring my character to life. You actually got to know a little bit about his background.
Yeah, I feel that it brought out things that you could pick up in the reading. It really brought it out so you could truly understand what was happening, and it also made the story more realistic, and you could kind of really understand it a lot more when you had that deeper understanding.
Do you guys want to discuss some of the character development that you felt all of your characters went through from beginning to very end? Because that's something that's not always as obvious as it should be. You got to kind of dig a little bit deeper. But character development is definitely something that brings good conversation. Anybody want to touch on that?
Mine was developed a whole lot more if I hadn't been killed.
Absolutely.
I guess I got to decompose.
Yeah, that, yeah.
There were definitely a lot of static characters in this that really did not get to change or develop in their personalities much. It was just, this person is this way and then they're gone.
That's how I felt I was. I mean, she didn't change at all. I mean, the whole story was revolved around her wanting to stay how she was, old self, pre-Civil War. She wanted to stay how it was. So,
Right.
so the whole story, I mean, I stayed the exact same. So, yeah.
Definitely. Well, these are some of the main characters that were portrayed in the story. But as far as the community, the development, well, I guess the community can be considered a character, but their development through the story was actually essential to the plot. In the beginning, they were. I mean, the whole place was considered a community, but as you know, Emily was kind of isolated from that, and the community didn't really pay much attention to her. But until her death, and then all of a sudden, everybody's so curious as to what's going on with Emily. Well, it started out when her father died. Everyone was curious, what's going on? Why is she acting like this? They were knocking on the door. You could see in the movie. And then even after she died, everyone was at her house, she had a huge funeral, but nobody came to visit her when she was living. So yeah, that's definitely essential to the plot.
So, y'all obviously had to go ahead and read the story that was written by Ms. Faulkner before you even, auditioned for your role, because you really needed to immerse yourself in it. How did you guys feel about the story the very first time you read it?
It was a little spooky at first, until I really just processed it a little bit. And it's like, okay.
Did you automatically know that this is the role that I would want to play, or did you just come into casting open-minded?
I thought it was really a lot of just staying open-minded because the story was a hard story to read, honestly. And, you just had to really just come knowing that, ask your character to be able to play this. And, I mean, I just feel we just all had to just come open-minded. So,
Do you guys have a favorite scene in the movie to film, or a favorite scene just overall? Anything that you really just enjoyed particularly?
Well, I can say I enjoyed. I mean, I got away with murder for like 30 something years, so I think that's the best part, honestly. I mean,
Bathhouse scene was a good time.
oh yeah.
It's fun to watch.
Oh yeah.
I didn't realize a lot of the things that after reading it until talking to you, the author, and understanding the backstory. At first, I wouldn't have thought that he was gay.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people don't understand the complexity of the story, the different parts that come in to actually make the story. A lot of people don't catch that. They just think it's some crazy lady who killed her boyfriend. Like, that's what a lot of people think. So
Yeah.
I definitely have to explain that all.
There's definitely a lot of misconception as to why she killed Homer. That is a little deep.
Yeah.
A lot of people, well, I guess I'll just explain the story now. A lot of people think that it, you know, Homer just came in because he just wanted a piece of Emily, but really, really, the character was to show the decline of the old Southern culture. Like I said, I was born in the Old South, and Homer was a gay character. So back then in the Old South, like, you know how the hot tub scene, he was just he was open. He was just like having the time of his life. Like that would never happen. That would have absolutely never happened when I was growing up. So that's definitely a big part of the story.
So, a lot of people assume that he was going after Emily as maybe an attempt to hide his sexuality, and then there are also others that believe he was just trying to get in on the wealth because of the death of her father. Was there a little bit of both of those elements in your inspiration?
Yeah, there was a little bit of both, but mostly Homer's purpose to Emily was to keep it into the wealth.
Yeah, I would assume. So, I am personally curious about the title of the story in the film. I actually haven't had any understanding.
Okay.
A rose for Emily.
Right. Okay, so the title represents Emily. She's a woman who, well, thinks she's fallen in love. And she goes through a terrible tragedy. Her father dies. She's been controlled by him her whole life. And this man shows up at her front step, and she thinks she loves him. And you know, with her being isolated from the community and all of that, it just shows that, you know, she was like alone. She was by herself. Nobody really paid attention to her. Nobody would. This man showed up at her doorstep because he was greedy. He wanted money, but he didn't show up genuinely because he liked her.
Yeah.
He wouldn't like show up with a rose. He was showing up just to be greedy. So in her death, as you can see in the movie, a single rose was placed on her body when she was laying in the casket, and the rose represents her basically like her living, well, not necessarily living, but living out her normal, what should have been happy life, should have been marriage, should have done all that, living that out in her death, like through her death. So,
Alright, thank you so much for answering that.
I got a phone call. Sorry.
No problem. Okay, so let's talk to the man at the table for a second. The film's only been out for a week, so we haven't gotten too much of a reaction from our viewers. Personally, how do you think that the viewers are going to react to your characters? Do you think there's going to be an overwhelming dislike, or, you know, anything you want to add to that? Just the reaction?
Well, I think my character, they're gonna probably be empathetic for him.
Yeah.
They may not realize his sexuality, but I mean he was just trying to be somebody's friend, and maybe he did enjoy her time or his time with Emily. But
Right.
I think they'll be sad. I hope.
Yeah.
Well,
I guess if it definitely wasn't for the bath scene, it definitely would not be at all clear that he's gay. But there's also no clear indication in the film that he was trying to get at her family as well. We can only assume that far. We really don't know, other than the fact that we have the actual author here. But just watching, you really would never know his sinister intentions.
I'm sure during when it was filmed, there would have been a negative reaction to his sexuality,
Yes.
and there may be some at this point in time, but I don't really care.
Do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, well, mine character definitely, the one despised no matter what.
Yeah.
I mean, he's basically a drunk, he's controlling his daughter. Yeah, he definitely represents the old way of parenting.
Yes.
Well, way back when. Children ought to be seen, not hurt. No one is so for it. And I also believe the way he brought her up definitely had a big impact on her life, what she did from then on. You know? But, I mean, it's obvious that Emily was insane beforehand. Because
Oh, yeah.
obviously he treated her like crap. But yet she still loved him so much she kept his body in the house for 2 or 3 days.
Right.
When anybody touched him. So that's right, there's insanity.
So I guess along the same lines, while we're talking about Emily's mental health, a lot of people and critics brought up the fact that Emily has never used the word I in the film. In the story, she does not use the word I. If she is discussing her life, she'll use the word we, even if she is just talking about something that only involves herself. Something that's a great example of that is we have people knocking on the door saying, "We're sorry to hear about your father," and she says, "My father's not dead."
Yeah. Well, I mean, she has people in her head, obviously. She's insane, obviously. So, I mean, it's, even after she killed Homer, it's like, I mean, she wasn't really alone because it's like his presence was still with her. So, she's just, I don't know, she doesn't even, that they're not physically there, she still feels them. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
doesn't want to let go.
yeah, she doesn't want to let go. Ever.
While we haven't pinpointed the exact mental illness that she's struggling with, I'm assuming that that's just something that comes along with what she has, just never really truly being alone.
Yeah.
Question for the author. How do you think this cast did in terms of portraying your vision? Did you really see what you wanted to come to life when you watched this film for the first time?
I definitely did. Thank you guys. Like I said in the beginning, I really do appreciate you for all the work you put in. Like you said, you had to research your role. You did a great job. Well, like I said, when people first read the story or when they first see the movie, even now, it's really hard to like take in all of what's going on. It's really hard to understand. I think these three right here did a very good job with that. A very good job.
Thank you very much. It's definitely one of those movies that you have to watch over and over again.
So, for any of my actors that want to answer this question, did you feel that there were any particular similarities or differences between you and the role that you were playing that maybe helped or did not help with portraying?
Well, obviously, for me, she kills people, and I don't. And I think she tends to want to hold on to them, whether it's physically or mentally. She just has to hold on. Whereas me, I feel like I'm willing to let go if they want to leave. And I think that's the biggest difference that we have.
Want to touch on that?
Yeah, I felt very, it was very easy for me to get in his skin because it seems like him, people just seem to love me. whether they be male or female. So it works. out.
All right.
So.
Do you want to touch on Emily's motivation for killing? Because we know she's got a mental disorder of some sort or another, but any particular motivations you think were behind?
Well, of course, her, wanting to never be alone. And if he would have left her, then, she would have been alone. So just by killing him, she still will have his physical presence as well as his mental presence there. And, that kind of relates to her and the necrophilia, Lord, as well. She just wants to feel him physically as well as mentally and
I agree, yeah.
Mhm.
So, Ms. Faulkner, I think we should talk about some of the different themes, symbols, devices that she used that brought the genius to this story.
Okay, well, as we touched on already, isolation is definitely one of the biggest themes. Like I said, she is a part of a community, but apart from it at the same time. Death, that's definitely a big theme. There was 3 deaths in one story. Definitely. I think I really got the inspiration from that from my husband. Rest in peace. After he died, I was kind of sad. So like,
He's not still in the bed. Is he?
oh no,
Yes.
definitely not. Oh, definitely not. And another theme, like I said before, was the decline of the old Southern culture. As you can see in the story. As far as symbols go, well, I was actually, well, not me, but my husband was actually in the military. So was his grandfather. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Colonel William Faulkner, but that was his grandfather. So as you can see in the story, when Emily's father was drunk and he stumbled over to the wall to grab the sword off the wall, but the sword was crossed with a musket, and a crossed musket and sword represents the state guard, the military. So that definitely had some influence on that. Another symbol was definitely the house that they lived in. As you can see in the movie, it was old antebellum house. That's from the old South where I grew up at. That's where I got the inspiration from that. Also some other symbols that actually had to do directly with the story. At the end of the movie, wow, the movie helps out a lot. The movie
It definitely does.
helps out a lot. At the end of the movie, when the doctor broke into the locked room at Emily's house, you can see the gray hair next to the skeleton.
You can step outside.
Step out the road.
You can see the gray hair next to the skeleton that symbolized that the necrophilia, that Emily was still sleeping with him. She
Yes.
was still, with him.
The big eye opener.
Yeah, definitely. But a lot of people didn't catch on to that actually
Really?
the first time they watched the
I
movie.
definitely did.
Yeah. And also, the doctor says the pillow is looking used. Yeah. And when you heard him say that, kind of know that Emily was sleeping with him.
I love the reaction of the other actors in that scene.
Oh,
After-
yeah,
after
she
he
was-
picks up the hair,
it's
the
just-
faces
it's just-
are
it's like-
absolutely amazing.
And I guess the last most important symbol I can touch on is rose, like I explained before in the title. Rose definitely symbolizes the happy, loving life that Emily should have had, but didn't.
So any other meaning in the film that you want to talk about? You think you covered enough of your background and meaning?
I think I pretty much covered it all. Like I said, the majority of the whole story comes from my background, my personal experiences, where I grew up, Mississippi, the old South, the relationships that I had, the relationships that I had with my husband's family, and like with the military and all that. So yeah, I basically put everything I knew into this story.
It was worth it. Okay, so if you've seen the film or the story, you know that Emily really doesn't date while her father is alive. She doesn't have any love interests because it's just not allowed. She isn't allowed to really go out of the house much at all, and after her father dies, she gets a knock on the door, and Homer is seen for the first time. She immediately falls for Homer without knowing anything about him, just seeing his face and hearing him say maybe one or two sentences. So I wanted to touch on that. Do you think that she fell for Homer right away just because he was the first man to approach her really after the controlling nature of her father was lifted off her shoulders?
Me?
Yes.
I think so. He also really did show an interest in her. He took her out, and did he have any interest in women? Because it looked like in the love scene they both came together.
I mean, they did definitely, but that was just Homer.
It just seemed very, it seemed like as soon as she locked eyes with him and as soon as he told her her name, even before he decided to take her out, she was just infatuated. And I think it was just really because he was the first person that showed his face after she had a little bit of freedom. You know, she could have gone for anyone.
I wasn't necessarily going to bring this up, but my husband had 3 bears.
Oh,
So, that definitely had an influence on Homer's character as well. Definitely. So, Homer's interaction with Emily, like the intimate scene that they had together, that was definitely just
She never wanted to let go.
Oh yeah, gotta hold on.
So one more thing I had prepared that I really wanted to talk about. Aside from Emily being absolutely insane and, you know, not really too sought after, she was just a point of interest for everybody in the town, and she had this particular charm that we as viewers aren't really able to identify too easily, but this almost deadly charm that she uses to her advantage quite a bit in the story, particularly the arsenic scene.
Oh yeah.
She just walks in there and says, "I need arsenic." He goes, "I'm sorry, but I can't sell you arsenic unless you give me a good reason as to what you're going to use it for." She gives no reason. Walks out of there with arsenic.
Yeah. I mean, I think, you know, people tend to judge based on looks and money, so it just kind of made it easier for her to buy the arsenic. As well as, I mean, people never know what she's really capable of, and she's kind of mysterious, which makes it kind of, people want to draw towards her, and that's really just, you know, it made it easy for her to, you know, go through her life and getting what she wants, because she just, I mean, she just who she was, and it's just,
You did a great job playing such a bold
oh yeah.
character.
Yeah, that was interesting, man. Thank you.
You definitely wore the pants.
Oh yeah, Lord, yes.
Is there anything else that anybody wants to discuss? I've gone through most of my discussion points, but I'm totally willing to open up any more conversation. Anyone?
No, even, like I said, I really appreciate you guys.
Oh yeah, totally loved the story. Loved it.
And I'm glad we got to discuss this as you guys to get a deeper understanding of the characters you played and you learned something as well. I think.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
quite a bit.
A lot of fun it was.
Okay, so again, if you guys have not gone out and seen the film, it'll be out in theaters for maybe 2 more weeks. Definitely go out, buy a ticket. It is worth it.